You sound good.
Brilliant.
Keep on talking and talk a little bit more if I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Testing one,
Oh,
two, three.
perfect. Okay, great. All right, so you're on. Perfect. I'm going to finish the intro and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay. It's just a short one. Is it how long is it going to be? Just so I'm aware.
30 minutes. You'll
Okay.
be you'll be live by 25.
Okay.
Okay? All
Perfect.
right. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show, where we celebrate the power of words and the beauty of storytelling. Join us every week. We have conversations with authors and small business owners. We have exciting lineup of guests who will take us on a literary journey like no other. Join us as we delve into the world of authors and small business owners from diverse backgrounds and cultures, each bringing their own unique perspective and voice to the table. From thrilling memoirs to captivating fiction and business startups, our guests will share their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs, offering us a glimpse into the rich tapestry of human experience. Immerse yourself in the magic of words and discovery as we explore the global literary landscape together. So grab a cup of tea, cozy up by the fire, and join us on this adventure of a lifetime. The Hollis Chapman Show is your ticket to a world of imagination, inspiration, and enlightenment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with some of the most talented and compelling voices in literature today. Tune in and let the journey begin.
Hello and welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show. Happy special Thursday show. We have a special guest here today to talk about her business she started. And I'm going to say these words: trauma, trauma, trauma. We've all been there. We all may be going through it. We may know somebody who's going through it. Well, because of her history, she went to school. She was going to study human rights law, but things change. She didn't do that. So she, because she had depression, self-sabotage. We hear a lot about that. Maybe teenage girls do a lot of self-sabotage, especially with the internet now. You see things, you join this group, you do this and this, self-sabotage. Well, she's here to help us walk us through that. She's a founder of the Trauma Matrix. Without further ado, let's welcome my special guest, Emma Lyons.
Thanks so much. Hey, Hollis, thanks so much for having me. Great to be here.
Thank you very much for sharing with us today. What you're doing, what your topic is so important. Unfortunately, it's a big thing that we have to do and face in our lives, in our society. So thank you so much. Tell us more about yourself and your business. Excuse me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was trying to deal with, like, you've kind of introduced what I do and where I kind of started. I like, but after I studied all the law stuff, I realized that absolutely wasn't for me, and I had like a quarter life crisis, and I fell into,
Mm,
you know, the depression. I'd kind of been depressed all my life.
mm,
And I'd been doing all this healing work on myself for years and years and years, for decades, and all kinds of therapy. But it was kind of just like taking one step forward and two steps back constantly. And I was like, what's going on? Why is this not working? Because I was seeing it working for other people, and I was able to help other people with the work that I was doing. But I didn't seem to be able to help myself. And what really shifted for me is when I started to uncover what was the dysfunction in my own family, and the fact that my mother, has pretty much all the traits of the covert narcissist, and
mm,
I had been the scapegoat all my life. So it explains why from childhood I had been like, something wrong with me. I hate myself. I hate my body. Like, all this internalized shame. It doesn't just drop out of the sky. It came from my environment. So once I was able to contextualize that and recognize that shame was really the underlying, it's kind of like the groundwork to everything. So all the good work that I was doing in terms of healing just kept on reverting, because I had this underlying shame that really needed to be addressed first. It was kind of like I was feng shuiing the sitting room while
mhm,
the house was on fire. And once I started to tend to the fire, that was when things started to change for me. So really working on this shame piece has been really powerful for me, and that's the focus now in my work with my clients. I've realized what I realized, that happened for me and what I realize happens for pretty much all of us, especially in the Western world, is that we internalize this shame voice. And I've identified it as an I've called it an inner narcissist.
Yeah.
People call it the inner critic. But
Yeah.
if you look closely at it, you see that it has all the traits of a narcissist. It's grandiose, it's self important, it has all these fantasies, it bosses you around, it feels special, it's entitled. It has no empathy whatsoever, it's envious. The only difference is that instead of exploiting other people, it just exploits you. So the call is coming from inside the house. And once I started to recognize that, and really take back my power from this thing, which is it's not a normal emotion, shame. It's a parasite. And once I started to recognize that shame had no utility whatsoever, in spite of what we're gaslit to believe in our culture, that was really the turning point when I was able to start taking back my power and really finding out who I am. Because when you are carrying shame, you can't be authentic. You can't be who you are because shame tells you to hide, to contract, to be small, to be less than. But yet we're taught by society that shame is good for you, that, you're shameless. That's a slur, You're
Mm.
shameful, you're shameless, you have no shame. Shame is always, always a mechanism of control. Doesn't matter if you do it to a child, whatever, it's a mechanism of control. It's always a manipulation, but it's just so normalized in our culture and our society. And it's kind of like the coding for this trauma matrix that I talk about. It can't exist without shame. Shame is the weapon, the tool that we internalize. We internalize the jailer, this shame voice, this narcissist, and we don't need anyone. We don't need the empire to tell us what to do. We keep ourselves down ourselves. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. That's really emotional and deep. I'm looking at your bio online. Beautiful smile. Just great. And then what us as friends, we may have somebody who's kind of like you said, keeping it inside. Give us some tips and ideas how we can kind of recognize a person who is going through trauma but hide it, keeping it in. Because again, without looking at your stuff and listening to you, you never know what you went through, what you went through. How do we help somebody who may be going through some stuff and have them help them bring it out so we can get them some help or help them?
Well, yeah, people, I mean, I think you can make space for trauma. There's so much shame around trauma, and even this word shame, like people
Yeah.
don't talk about shame. They talk about it as guilt or use different words because shame is kind of like a dirty word. But recognize that we're all traumatized, every single one of us. We live in a super toxic world. So even if you had a functional family, which is the minority of families in the United States, it's estimated that about 7 or 8 out of 10 families are dysfunctional. And
Mm.
that means they'll have the scapegoat role. So someone will be chosen as the kind of the emotional landfill for all the toxic stuff that nobody wants to address. And we all have trauma, and we all need to face it. But it's very often it's the scapegoat person who really ends up having to face it because they're so debilitated in their life. So if you're suffering from depression, anxiety, what all kinds of mental illnesses or mental disorders that are kind of normalized in our society, that's all depression. These are all
Mm.
different symptoms and manifestations of complex trauma from childhood. So I would say we all have it. It's just a matter of to what degree and to how it's affecting your life and to what extent you're actually committed to do something about it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Thank you. What was a wow moment when you said to yourself, I got to start this business? I got to start and have a place where people can go and get the help they need. Was there, as you think back, was there a certain moment where you kind of knew that you were going to start a business?
Well, I know I started a business a long time ago. I mean, when I realized I didn't want to do law, I
Yeah.
started it. But I kept on running into these roadblocks
Mm.
because of my own self-sabotage, perfectionism, basically the shame. So I was doing all the right things. I can't tell you how much money I spent on all these courses and programs, and
Mm.
none of it worked. It's because I had this underlying shame. No matter how great the strategies and tools were, if you've got the shame that's driving you, that's running your life, you are not going to be able to show up authentically. Even if you show up on Facebook